Okay, let's take a look at your VAT control account. For now, we're going to say it's a liability, and we're going to look at it as if it's a liability. At times, it can be an asset, but for understanding this specific account, we're going to go and reference it as a liability. On the left-hand side, you can see there's a variety of journals. These are all transactions that have made my VAT control go down. I owe SARS less. On the right-hand side, I have got all the transactions where my liability is increasing. I received money from people, obviously, and because they paid me, they paid additional VAT, and I owe that VAT to SARS, so the liability went up. I'm going to break it down for you now, one by one, so just follow me on the slides. The first one that I want to look at is bank when you are purchasing your goods. So you go to your supplier, you're buying from your supplier, and they add VAT to the items. Just that little piece of VAT will go in here, and that is now money that you have indirectly already paid to SARS, meaning you owe SARS less. This is a refund amount that we have spoken about before. On the right-hand side, when you are selling to your customers, now they are giving you extra money, which is VAT, 15%. And that VAT you now owe to SARS. So you're going to have to keep at that, hold on to it, and every 2 months, make sure you get that money to SARS. Let's look at some other journals. The CJ is the same as CPJ. You're going to your supplier and you're buying goods. In this instance, though, you're not paying for it immediately. You will pay later, probably between 60 and 90 days. And the additional VAT that they added to the prices, they then went and they will make sure it gets to SARS. So there's another refund. You owe SARS less because you've already paid some VAT on those items. On the right-hand side, still staying with creditors, sometimes the items you're not happy with and you send them back, and it's as if that sale never happened. So that means you can't count on that refund anymore, so you have to put it on the opposite side. But if you want to understand it more according to the liability, you now owe SARS that money again because you didn't pay it on those items. So you can't use it as a refund for SARS. The second one for creditors is when you receive a discount, when you pay early. So you go back to your suppliers and say, here's my money, and they say, well, you can pay less. And immediately there was VAT in that amount that you owed. So for now, that VAT is kind of cancelled. So you can't bargain on it for being a refund. So CJ and CAJ will never be on the same side. Remember that. Let's look at the DJ. So the DJ, I want to show you the credit side first. On the credit side is normal. It's sales, like the cash sales was also on the credit side. What does this mean? A customer comes to you, they buy from you, and they give you some VAT, 15%, which you now have to get to SARS. That's why it's sitting on the right-hand side. On the left, you've got the opposite. So this is when that sale, either the person's returning it, they're not happy with it, or there was a bad debt, so the sale never happened, or you decided to give them discount because now afterwards they came back and they paid early. So that sale was actually less. This is all good news because at the end of the day, you owe SARS less because the sale actually decreased because of it. Let's look at one last final one, and this is when you decide to pay some of your VAT. Every 2 months, you pay this. And what happens then is your liability will decrease and bank will be credited, CPJ, and the liability will be debited. And that's it for now. Just remember, we'll normally start with a balance on the right-hand side, and you're just going to have to balance this account as you would balance any balance sheet section account and see where you end. What can happen to this account, like bank, the balance can possibly end up on the left next month, meaning SARS owes you, and that's when it becomes an asset. But most of the time, like 80–90% of the time, your balance will end up on the credit side at the end of the month or the beginning of the next month, showing you that you owe them more money. And that's it.